Hello, this is Roland. Today I want to talk about a very important Bible verse, one that's not understood very well. And it's words of Christ, where he said, resist not evil. Resist not evil. And somewhere else in the Bible, in the New Testament, I think it's Paul, says, overcome evil with good. So you can put those two together. Resist not evil. Overcome evil with good. Okay? Now, a lot of people don't understand what that means. Resist not evil. They think it means, just be passive. But that's not the answer. Because we all know, there's an old expression, when good men do nothing, then evil flourishes. So evil has to be opposed. Wrong people have to be opposed. Wrong ideas have to be opposed. Error needs to be pointed out, and if continued in by someone where it's going to harm someone else, it needs to be stopped. Okay? But with a force called love. Okay? Let's talk about it. You see, first let me talk about the way most people oppose anything or attempt to resist anything. And the average person, and when I say average, I mean 99.9% of people, resist things with the energy of resentment. Resentment. Christ could have said, resent not evil. See, resentment is the emotion that's very close to the soul. It's just on the borderlines between the soul and the body. You do have control over your resentment. You may not have control over shaking if you're scared, or fear, or upset tummy if you get angry. If you get angry, you may not have control over those things, but you have control over your resentment. So I'm going to keep it very simple. Most people resist anything with the energy of anger, upset, resentment. And that's why people see, your body tells a story. Every ache in your body, every tension, every pain, they all tell a story. And the story that most of them tell is tense, nervous, on edge, irritable, and then eventually drained. See, in nature there's a principle that change draws up energy. We know that. If you get a magnet and you move a magnet around near a wire is there to detect the electric field. You move the magnet around and somehow the changing magnetic field produces a changing electric field, and the changing electric field produces a current in the wire. Okay, so energy is coming into existence somehow and moving, a force to move those electrons around, maybe even more than that. Okay, we all know that change takes its toll. Get a new job, new house, moving from one city to another, change. A lot of people don't like change because they know it's going to be. Change has two sides. Change can be good. It draws up life. It's invigorating. Okay, a new class, okay, a new restaurant to go to, a new friend, okay, a new car, a new something rather, a fun job to do, a new hobby you just discovered. See, so it's fun. A new spring arrives. When spring arrives, then if you go to Home Depot or all the different places, Ace Hardware, then people are there buying plants, and because they want to plant. So it brings life. And a lot of tribes around the world have a tradition of sending people on a long trip in order to help them to grow. See, so change will bring forth energy, but it also uses up energy. It brings it forth, but it's usually your energy that's coming forth, and then you can use it over a long-term period. You use the energy up, or you deplete it somewhat. it's you know, the energy that you have. Now, I'm not going to talk about how there's a way of drawing upon the other energy. I'm getting to that. This is good stuff. Very good. So you're just going to have to wait for the really good stuff to come. But it's good all the way along here. You know, if you have rechargeable batteries, you can recharge them. So you have a long, hard day of work, then you go to bed and rest, and the next morning you feel refreshed. Okay? Well, you have batteries, rechargeable batteries, they become depleted, and then you recharge them. Then they become depleted, and you recharge them. Okay? So they're rechargeable. But at a certain point, after a certain number of hundreds or however many it is, charges, then they don't recharge so good anymore. Eventually not at all. Well, that's kind of the way we are. So you live a life and things happen, okay? And you have ups and downs and bumps in the road and happy moments okay? And then things not so good, and that's life, okay? But you use your energy and keep recharging and using and recharging for quite a long time, okay? But let's get back to what people do when something stresses them. See, something poses some kind of a challenge, especially one they don't like, okay? Or a challenge they feel inadequate to deal with, or a challenge that they don't want to deal with. Then they resent it. But then they are already, see, they're opposing it. Even if they don't lift a finger to do anything, they have already brought forth an energy of resentment and anger. So you see how that'll make a person tense, okay, and use up energy. Okay. Now, there's another principle involved in all of this, and that is that the one who reacts is the loser. Every salesperson knows that. Eventually they get to a point where they ask you to sign on the dotted line or something. And there's an old saying that the first one to say something loses. Okay? There's something about reacting. It puts you in second position. Reacting puts you in second position. The other one is the one that causes the reaction, causes the stress. And then if you react to the stress, then you're in second position. Okay? You're the one that reacted to it. So now can you see that if something comes along and you resent it, or resent them, resent anything, you already are in second position. So you're the loser. See, we all know that. If you see somebody that's all sullen and resentful, you recognize that that's not a noble quality, like a sore loser. See, nobody has respect for a sore loser. Okay, so you see, so it's an inferior thing. So the person who resents is in second position. They're the loser. But now here's the principle. To the victor go the spoils. In nature, one animal fights another one and then drains that one of energy, maybe takes its life. If it's a herd of animals, then the victor takes the energy and becomes the victor and becomes strong for having overcome the adversary. If one animal's hunting for another one, then it's the victor and it takes the life of the other one. Okay? So there's a draining that goes on. There's a game of one-upmanship. Okay? And then the victor gets the energy. So other people can drain you of your energy, and evil can drain you of energy. Irritation can drain you of energy. See? Naturally, when we work with our hands and in good, wholesome work with your hands, you actually can glean some energy from the environment. Especially when things break down. Remember I talked about change releasing energy. But the environment can turn the tables on you. When you begin to resent your work, for example, then it'll take your energy. It'll literally take your energy. Okay? So you see what happens? First of all, the stress draws up the energy and then takes it. And even if it doesn't take it, let's say you bump your toe on a chair and you resent the chair. Well, maybe the chair won't take your energy, but you know what? You're still using up some energy because of your irritation and anger and excitement and so on. See? Maybe you get angry and kick the chair. You use up more energy and then hurt your toe, and then you resent that. See? So now do you understand from a very practical, biological, psychological, and of course spiritual point of view, resist not evil. So then the question comes up, well, then if you don't resist evil with resentment, with anger, with irritation, with so on, then how are you going to resist? You throw in the towel. Well, that's what most people do. 99% of people, they get angry, they get upset, they get irritated, and then they give in. See? And the next time the stress comes along, they may just give in to it. Just give in. Because they can't bear the stress. Maybe somebody comes up and asks you to do something, and it's not your job, and you shouldn't have to do it, and you get angry and resentful. Okay? You become so angry and resentful that you develop a headache. You got a headache and an upset tummy from being all upset because they asked you to do that work that you didn't want to do. And because of your resentment, and you were resentful. You could have just said no, but instead you resented it. So the next time that person comes along, you might just give right in because you don't want to have another round of upset, because that's the only way you know how to resist. Okay? But the other way of resisting, so let's talk about the other way. The other way is not to resent it. The other way is to take a mental step back and observe. See, what good is it going to do to resent a chair that you bump into? Or to resent someone for asking something? All you have to say is no. So you stand back, check with your intuition, check with your conscience, see if it's wise to honor their request, or is it the right thing to do? Or if it's not, okay, then could you do a kindness? Well, no, you really can't. You're too busy. So then you just say no. No, sorry, can't do it. See how simple? And you walk away. We have to practice that. Most people are doormats. Most people, because they don't know how to resist except with resentment and anger, and they don't want to be resentful and angry, so then they give in to everybody, and then they're known as being a nice person, see, but nobody respects them. And they just give and give and give until they don't have anything left to give. Then the other side resents you and walks away because you don't have anything to give anymore. They were just using you. So you don't want that to happen. So you have to learn to either graciously say yes or graciously say no. Either way. Yes or no. Walk away. No, don't feel anything about it. Okay? Don't feel bad for saying no. If you feel bad, the only reason you're feeling bad is because there was a little bit of resentment. So just look at the resentment, watch. Okay? See that the resentment was wrong, but no was still the right thing to say. Okay? But there's another energy. You see, if you get your ego out of the way, remember Christ said when he said to them, you're going to be called before the different councils and hearings and so on. You're going to be called. And he said, don't pre-plan what you're going to say. Because when you're there, the Holy Spirit will speak for you. See, you'll know what to say. So, see, if you plan ahead, sometimes other people can read your thoughts, or by osmosis they sense, or your body language gives away what you're going to do, and then they can counter it. But if you don't have anything pre-planned, see, now they're upset because they don't know how to deal with you. It's not obvious what you're going to do, so now they have to start thinking and wondering and worrying and planning, and see, they get so upset they might totally mess up or just go away. See? But, getting back to the original point, and that is, there's other energy with which to resist things, and that's the energy of love, of grace. Okay? Now, love and grace does not mean being a wimp. See? Doesn't mean being a wimp. It means not resenting. See, love by not hating, love by not judging, love by not being angry. Because sometimes love, see, there's also a force of love. See, sometimes people have to be stopped. We all know that. We know sometimes the policeman, he has to stop people. Okay? But he doesn't use violence. He uses a force, a calm force, to stop them from hurting themselves. See? That's it. That's what the policeman has to do. See? Sometimes little kids are getting ready to do something really dumb, and the parent has to come and grab them. Little kids getting ready to walk toward, little toddlers walking toward the I'm just making something up, walking out toward the street. And mom comes rushing and swoops the little toddler up just before it's going to step into the street. See? Well, she's not angry, but she has to move quickly to swoop up the little child to protect it. See? You get the idea. It's very simple. So there's a difference between violence and force. So sometimes the right thing to do is to tell the truth. See? And people don't like it. If they're messing up, if they're doing something wrong, and you point it out. You point out the truth, but without anger, with a twinkle in your eye. Okay? Not because you want to win, not because you want to look good, not because you want to make a point, not because you want to put them down. You're simply speaking the truth because that's the right thing to do. And you didn't pre-plan it. The truth you blurt it out, and that's the right thing to do, and it has a different force behind it. It's not the force of anger. It's not the force of resentment. So there's a different force. See? Christ used a different force. Because when you get your ego out of the way, when you stand there, so there's the stress. Somebody's doing something wrong, maybe. And there you are. Or they say something mean to you or cruel or vicious or something. So there you are. And you just stand there and you just look at them, okay? And you get your ego out of the way. And then if nothing comes to you, then nothing's what you're supposed to say. If something comes to you, then then you just say it. You just blurt it out. You didn't pre-plan it. You have no thought of the consequences of your putting them down or building yourself up. You just say it. Okay? And it has a totally different effect because you got your ego out of the way. It's no longer an angry, it's not an energy of pride and anger and it's not resisting. See? Now let's look at it again another way. If there's someone there who says something mean or is doing something wrong or something, and you stand back and you observe. So you're not reacting to that. You're not reacting. You're just observing. You're just calmly observing. You're not reacting. So you're not drawing up any anger energy or resentment energy or irritation energy. And you just observe. Okay? And so there's no tension. See? You're not gingered up. Then you check with your intuition to see if you check with your intuition to see what you wordlessly know in your heart. If nothing comes to you, then nothing is what you're supposed to say or do. If something comes to you, you'll just suddenly sense it and you'll just move with a good impulse. You'll just say something, for example, and it'll just come out. And it'll just come out. It won't even require any energy. So what are you doing? You're responding to what you know inside. You're responding to what you know in your heart. You're not reacting to the outside. You're responding to good on the inside. See how you overcome evil with good? You're not reacting to the outside. You're responding to the good from the inside. And then you bring forth that good. Maybe you say something. Maybe a gesture, or you say something. Now you bring forth, you verbalize that good. And now good has entered the world. And for the first time in that person's life, he may be faced with someone who doesn't hate him, who doesn't resent him. And more than that, he's faced with a force of incalculable power that comes from within. It's not your force. It's not your energy. It's not from you. You're just standing there checking for your marching orders within, you see. So it's very simple, really, but this may be a little something different than you've heard before. Okay? So what you need to do, maybe watch the video again. I have other videos on this topic. Watch it again so you can grasp the principle. Okay? Resist not evil. In other words, resent not evil. Overcome evil with good. My name is Rowan.